Hello, hello. We are live on Throwback Thursday, January 18th, 2018. Steve Sipress here. Starting off with my Rhino of the Day, and I'm in an awards mood because of the hilariously ridiculous Donald Trump coming out with his fake news awards of the year or whatever. And this one is out of the Rhinos catalog from Scott Alexander, author of Rhinoceros Success. And this dates back to around early 90s. And one of the things that I ordered out of this calendar was I got dozens of these Goldstone Rhino pins. They were like $1 a piece. $3 a piece. So $3 a piece, and I would give them out as awards in my door-to-door sales business to people that had graduated from the entry level to learning how to do the door-to-door sales and work our system, to being able to master that, and then moving up into what we called a trainer or a manager, where they were now teaching other people how to use the system, and they got to wear their Rhino pins, signifying that they were going through the jungle of the life of door-to-door sales, which is the same as life pretty much for, well, it's a lot more intense, but it's similar to life of any entrepreneur, with the ups and downs and uncertainties of day to day and setting goals and charging after them and all that kind of stuff. Hence the Rhino pins as an award. And Rod is here, great senior Rod. So today for Throwback Thursday, I got out my certificate that says, congratulations. Oh, you can't read it because I'm using the phone here, so I'll just have to read it to you. This is to certify that Steve Sipress, for being one of the top 3 presenters in the Marketing Campaign of the Year category of the Super Conference 2010 Bonus Day Competition, May 2nd, 2010, signed Bill Glazer, president of Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle. Now, the story that goes around, it's a very nice plaque, by the way. It's this nice kind of marble, really solid wood there with a glass screwed in on the top, and then, of course, just the piece of paper with the certificate. It's a very nice frame. But the story that goes with this is one of a little bit of silliness. Hey, Jim, this is a company, Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle, which teaches effective marketing to small business owners and entrepreneurs, similarly to what I do today. And every year, actually, I ran a chapter. For 6 years, I ran the Chicago chapter for that Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle, the GKIC group. And I would award every year my own Marketer of the Year. And my Marketer of the Year runner-ups, and give out the prizes. And I would give thousands of dollars worth of prizes and trips and all kinds of stuff to the winners and the runners-up and all that kind of stuff. And I always did that at my annual Christmas party, which, you know, I was famous for have an open bar and beer and wine and champagne and shrimp and steak and I don't know, whatever else, it was like whatever my beautiful wife Michelle could pick off the best stuff off the menu we served, and actually would get a photographer to come and give free photo sessions. So I would let people know to bring your spouse and get all dressed up to the nines, and people would come in dressed in their suits and fancy gowns and whatever, and we had a whole big party, and I'd give away also all my holiday client gifts. I'd give away like gift baskets. The closer they were to the more help they were getting from me, the higher level of help they were getting, the bigger the gift basket. And I would give out like $300 gift baskets full of wine and cheese and this and that and whatever to my top one-on-one clients. And then just the basic members got like $50 gift baskets and things like that. But anyway, I digress. That was me giving out, similar to Donald Trump giving out his awards, only mine weren't fake. They were real Market of the Year awards for people that had used what I was teaching to make usually hundreds of thousands of dollars extra in their business than they had the year before. But this one, you see how it says here, well, maybe you can't read it, but it says, I was one of the top 3 presenters in the Marketing Campaign of the Year category. So here's the deal. This GKIC had several different categories that they would award Market of the Year. And so I was like, man, that just makes it easier to win, because you don't have to be the number one guy out of the whole, probably 1,000 members or so in the organization, like sharp marketers from all over the world would fly in and compete for this thing. And, people making 7, 8 figures, they broke it up into categories. Well, here's the deal. I was the only one to submit in the category that I submitted for. So Bill Glazer came to me and said, I got good news and bad news. The good news is you unofficially win in that category. The bad news is you're not going to get a trophy or a prize or get up on stage and do your presentation, and then the audience votes because you're the only one that signed up for it. So technically, that category no longer exists. So congratulations, you would have won. And he was like, oh, your submittal was outstanding, and it was one of the best I've ever seen, and blah, 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 in the category I was in. And he goes, instead, sorry, but I had to pick a category to put you in, and I put you in for this marketing campaign of the year, which basically is, I guess, ostensibly supposedly awarded on the basis of one promotion, one campaign that you did over the year. Well, I didn't have one campaign that I did. In fact, in my submittal for marketing of the year, I had 77 different campaigns, different strategies and tactics that I used to market my business. And that's one thing Bill said to me. He said he'd never seen anyone implement more of the strategies and tactics that they teach in one single year than I had. 77 different ways of promoting and marketing my business successfully in the course of 1 year. That's like more than 6 a month. I mean, I was just implementing like crazy. I've always been called like an amazing implementer, and the speed to the money and all that, and that's an example of it. But so there I was. I'm like, what am I supposed to pick one? See, that's the problem. By having 77 different campaigns, it's not likely you have one that's super duper outstanding. It's kind of like what's the guy in the circus or on the street corner, whatever, like the one-man band, right? He plays every instrument. He's got his harmonic in his mouth, and he's banging a cymbal with his foot, and he's, playing a keyboard with one hand and a drum with the other, or whatever he's doing. What is he going to be, the world's best keyboard player? Like, that's not likely, since he's playing 77 different instruments at once, right? So I'm like, great. Of course, I'll still compete, and I'll get up there on the stage, and that'll be all fun. But, I knew I wasn't going to win. And then to top it off, and just to finish the story and let everyone go about their day as the sun sets on another spectacular, beautiful Arizona winter day, I don't think it got up into the high 70s today, though. A little on the chilly side, maybe only the low 70s or so. Like, bummer. What a tough winter we're having as usual. But anyway, I digress. So here's the bottom line is, one of the other people in the category that I was in, the guy that won the category, I did not win. I was a runner-up. That's why I got this plaque instead of one saying, because you won the category, right? There was probably a different plaque that he got. And this is what was ironic and painful about it. Hey, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Rob says, I'm a winner in your book. Thank you. And some other people are here. Lindsay's here. Oh, Rob, you're here. Brian McLaughlin's here. Great. And so this guy who won in this category was in a type of business that one of my clients was in the same industry, and I had helped her to have an absolute ton more success than this guy. From what he showed in his presentation, I mean, it's good stuff, but I mean, the stuff that I helped my client do was phenomenal. Outrageously, she made more money and worked less hours and had more systems working into her business. Again, it's based on, I guess, one category, one campaign, but her stuff overall, her business was phenomenal compared to his. She, in fact, had been my first ever Market of the Year a year before, or a year or 2 years before, in my Chicagoland Sharpest Entrepreneurs group, because this was 2010, and I started that group in 2008, so probably I awarded it to her in 2009. I started in September '08, so I wouldn't have had a Market of the Year after just 3 months. So just 1 year before, she had won my Market of the Year in the same business of the guy that I lost to now, and the stuff that I'd helped her do light years better than his. So here's the key, and here's the lesson. He told a much better story than me. Hey, Darren. And that's a lesson I learned that day, that it's not about, in any business, it's not about how well you do the business. It's not nearly as important to get and keep clients, customers, patients, members, whatever you call them in your business, as your story, as the emotion created by your story. So this guy that I was now in the category with got up on the stage, and even though his marketing was nowhere near mine or even what I'd help my client do, his story was so much better emotionally than mine. I failed to tell an emotionally great rags to riches, superstar overcoming the odds, underdog story. So people love an underdog. And he told a great underdog story about how, you know, it was the first year he'd ever made six figures, and gee, he finally got a real business now, and this and that. And I'm like, what? Like, you know, should I have stopped working after like 2 months? Like, you know, my story was like how great everything I did was and how successful it all was. His was like how he connected better with the audience, okay? Does it make sense? You know what I'm saying? He connected better with the audience because the audience is, for the most part, not like us. They beyond the stage. They're like I was when I first would attend these conferences. They're wishing they were on the stage. They're wishing they would implement anything and that they would go from struggling to success. Maybe like you're watching this video now. I get calls all the time from people who watch my videos saying, man, I'm struggling. I'm frustrated. Can you help me? Like that emotional story is where all the viewers are, the voters were. And that's the story he told. Hey, I'm just like you. I'm a struggling, you know, unsuccessful guy until I put this into use, and then, hey, I made six figures this year. And everyone, I believe, you know, of course, I didn't ask everyone in the room why they voted for him, but I was like, it was clear that based on that story, he was connecting with the audience in an emotional way, and they were on his side compared to me, who was like, look at all this great stuff I did, and I'm an expert at this, and I'm fantastic at this, and I made all this money and did all this stuff and have all this freedom and blah, 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 blah. Didn't connect emotionally with the audience. So I learned my lesson there, and since then I've helped several people become Marketers of the Year in that organization and others, and I've helped them tell their story. And especially no matter what business you have, you might think, and often I'll ask somebody, I'll say, you know, let's get your story going, like, heating and air guy, why would somebody use you instead of the competition? Let's tell your story. And oftentimes I get the answer when they first start working with me. They're like, well, gee, I don't know. I guess I'm the closest guy. I'm like, all right, well, that might be true now. But when you work with me, we're going to get your story put together so you have an emotional story so that people just want to call you to have you come over and fix their boiler and do their heating and air work, even if you're more further away than 10 or 20 other guys, because you have that emotional connection and they want to do business with you. If you can think in your life of people you do business with and businesses or restaurants or anywhere that you attend or you go to or you like, often it's got an emotional connection, certainly for a sports fan at all. Like, it's not, you know, one team a year wins the championship. So you're not going to games because that's the championship team all the time. You're going because you have an emotional connection to the players, to the team, to the coach, to, you know, gee, my dad, you know, took me to the games when I was a kid, so I have emotional connection to the state, whatever it is. You can do that in any business, okay? Get someone's help. If you can't do it on your own, get someone's help, but it's a powerful thing you can do. So I learned the lesson that day when I got the runner-up trophy instead of winning, that even though I had light years better stuff and a lot more success and was so much better marketing than the guy that beat me, he had a better emotional story, which means he wins and I lost. I was a loser. And that's Throwback Thursday for today, January 18th, 2018. So thanks everyone being here live. And thanks especially to Rob, who says even though I was a loser that day, that I'm a winner in his book. Thanks, Rob. You're a winner in my book. And in fact, Rob's the one that helped me to, what did he call it? What'd you call it? Theme it out. So he's the one that helped me come up with that every Thursday I'm here live with you, recording a video and calling it Throwback Thursday. Speaking of which, I'll be back tomorrow on Foundation Friday, where I will share a foundational basic business building tip. I just shared one today to have an emotional story to tell to attract your ideal your ideal client that you want to do business with. But I'll have another foundational business building tip for you tomorrow on Foundation Friday. I hope you'll be with me then. Thanks for being here today. As the sun sets in the west on another gorgeous day, I hope you're enjoying the day as well. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks for being here today. Bye-bye.